Hey guys, this is Mag G from Team Simp, and this week for Map Tactics, I will be bringing you the map Himmelsdorf. Since we just won the finals of the Classic Season 4 on the map Himmelsdorf, I figured what better map to do than show you Himmelsdorf. And so I wanted to show you some of the philosophies and the ideas behind the map that won us a million gold. So the first thing you'll notice this week is that I've incorporated a lot of the feedback I received last week. So I'm starting off with the map tactic already up and already ready. And as you'll see, each side has 9 different tanks. And on each side, the tanks are in slightly different positions. The main feature you'll notice is that on Himmelsdorf we have more tanks from the south going to the hill than we do on the north. On Himmelsdorf, the south is in a better position to win the north because it's a much better, much more friendly approach from the south. There's this depression right here in this area where you can safely get up to the castle. In the north, you drive over a steep ledge, and then you don't have any cover until you get to this area right next to the castle. So the north hill approach, you have to be a very fast tank if you want to make it onto the hill from the north. And since matchmaker usually balances out both sides, generally the south should have a much easier time winning the hill. In turn, the north has an easier time winning the 1-2. You have much better positions. You can get to here safer and quicker, and you can also use this 2 line for much better cover because of the curve right here. Because of this natural curve, it provides much better cover going from the north than it does the straight line coming up from the south. So now that we have that out of the way, the main advantages of each side, let's get down to business. Each tank has whether or not it needs armor to play that position, and what kind of damage you need. Alpha damage is that high first shot, so that'd be like a 600 damage tank destroyer at tier 8. That only fires 3 or 4 rounds a minute. That's alpha. And then DPM, of course, is damage per minute. It doesn't need to be high alpha gun, but if it only does 200 damage but it fires 20 times per minute, that's a lot of damage per minute. So that's what it means when it says damage per minute. So on the south, let's talk about the hill first, since that's your best advantage. Armor's not going to do you much good up on the hill. You're not in very many positions to use it, so what you'll want is just speed and then damage per minute. Scouts and medium tanks, usually don't even come with good armor anyway. You generally just want to be able to dish out the damage because your defense on the hill is your offense. The strongest position to take on the hill is this rubble pile. There's a rubble pile right here that you can use to take a shot, pull out, take a shot on these guys in the north, or if you're on the north, take shots on the guys on the south. But you take a shot, then you pull back. Take another shot, pull back into safety. And of course, if you're pulling out, you always want to make sure that the only tank that can hit you is the one you're shooting at, or the most tanks you can be hit by is just 1. You don't want to be trading out 1 shot of damage for 3 or 2 or 4 from the enemy team. And then of course it's just a matter of you and your team winning at this rebel pile, and if you guys win there, you win the hill. And you can either push down, which I actually would not recommend unless you're well coordinated with your teammates, or you can get shots on the D line from the hill, or you can get shots down there if your teammates need support, and you can use this ledge area for shots on the enemy team. Usually for novices, I'd recommend against it. It leaves you sometimes in the open, and it's a very finesse position to be playing this line. So you just win the hill and then just overpower them with your teammates. To play the 8 line, you need armor, and so if you're going to be right here on these corners playing corner games, you want a tank with good armor and also a high alpha gun, because when you're playing these corner games, you're only going to be popping out once or 3 times a minute. So when you do pop out, you want to make sure that the damage you dish out is very high damage. This other position right here and this one right here, you'll notice that I put armor / DPM. The reason for that is because if you're getting shots, this tank has shots down here, which means the enemy is pushing the 8 line. So if the enemy is pushing the 8 line, you want to do as much damage as possible, and it doesn't matter if you're doing 500 a shot or 200 a shot, you just want to do a lot. So that would be the idea behind that position. If they're pushing the 8, they're in exposed positions, and you can dish out a lot of damage with high DPM. And again, if they're pushing the south from the north, they're in exposed positions, and you can do a lot of damage with high DPM. Moving on to the 3 line, you'll see the north has high alpha along with armor, because you can use this corner to much greater effect than you can use the southern corner. The northern corner, you can actually sit right here. You can sit pretty far south, which gives you good shots down this line. It also allows you to shoot over here or over here as needed, and it allows you to hide from the hill. And then if necessary, you can also pull back from the corner while you're reloading. So that's why I would suggest high alpha, because you can get one good shot and then pull back around the corner while you're reloading. This tank right here, if you didn't know, there's a window right here in C3. If you have a good turret, or if you have excellent turret armor like E4 and E3, or T110 E5, or a T32, maybe an M6, this is a spot you want to be if you can snipe and you have good turret armor. You get excellent shots down this line, and also if needed you can rotate to the 2 to help out the 2 if there's anything approaching from here. And you can also just pull back to safety while you're reloading. So the C3 window, if the enemy is pushing the 3 line, is an amazing spot to be. And you'll notice this heavy right here, he can push if he has armor. There's a lot of spaces where he can stop and shoot, and so the reason for that alpha, the reason you want alpha, is because you're only going to be stopping to shoot every so often. And so when you do shoot, you want to make sure that it does a lot of damage. So that's why you would want alpha on this line. There's spots to stop right here, there's spots to stop right there. You can stop at this corner, you can stop at this window if your tank is tall enough. And then of course the other reason you want high alpha is because you're going to be playing a lot of corner games once you do get into the enemy's base. I'll move this tank for a second, but you can see that there's a lot of corners you can play when you're pushing down the 2 line from the north. And of course the special thing about the north is these 2 tanks. You want DPM if you're scouting the 1 line, because you're not going to have much cover. So again, your main defense is going to be your offense. So if anything can come up and contest you, you need to be able to kill it before it can kill you. And then of course if you're a medium or a faster tank that has good TPM, you can support that scout, and then you can help him win the 1-2 line. This tank, an excellent tank at tier 10 for this line is the T57 Heavy. Another excellent one would be the 50B. Generally you want to be able to, if you're going to be taking a heavy up the hill or a slower tank, you want it to be able to at least go 30 kilometers an hour on flat ground. And anything slower than that is just not fast enough. You need to be somewhere else, usually. Again, these are just rough general guidelines for more inexperienced players. But the reason I put DPM/clip is because if you do make it up here, you're going to be lagging behind. So you need to be dishing out a lot of damage when you do get up there. That is why the 50B and the 57 are excellent tanks for that, along with the 5100 or the 5120. So yeah, you generally, if you're going to be a slower tank going up the hill, make sure that you're on the faster damage end of the spectrum, or you have a clip. The different positions for the south are the J2. This guy's a sniper and he wants alpha because he's going to be playing corner games on the south. And then this TD, it could be anything, but it'd just be a sniper. You can play at this corner and look north and get shots that way and help your team with that. And then of course you have a scout on the 1 line. I didn't put DPM or alpha, it doesn't really matter. The 1 line scout pretty much, he just needs to let your team know if they're coming up the 1, 2, 3. This is not a good defensive position, so if he does spot something coming up the 1, 2, 3, you need to be fast and you need to get out. There are other spots to fight them from on the defense. You can use this corner, you can use this corner, You can use this corner, whatever else you can think of, but you don't want to be stuck out here 1v3 or 1v4. You know, it's a bad place to get caught out. So you're there to let your team know if they're coming. If they aren't, you can go push up and take positions. But if they are, you can get out and get to a more defensive position and either try and go help the hill if the hill's still fighting, or you can just let them continue the roll. Continue with their momentum if they did win the hill. This middle it's an open expanse, and in 15v15 pub matches, public matches, you'll generally be having a hard time to make use of this courtyard just because there are so many variables. You don't really know what's going to happen. It's a very risky play for a public match. For Clan Wars or something where, you know, it's a little bit more organized, you can make it work. But for public matches, I would recommend avoiding the courtyards, and anything that does come, if you're on the south, if anything tries to come here, then you should have tanks that right here can just hold down and destroy it, or can go right here, hold down and destroy it. If you're on the north and something comes south, up here you can move here and hold down and destroy it, or you can move here and hold down and destroy it. There's a lot of much better options to just counter anything that tries to come up the mid than actually pushing the mid. And remember, you guys, these are just strong initial positions and the reasoning behind taking them. If you win your fight, or if there is no fight, like if you're on the south one and there turned out to be nothing here, then either push and press the advantage wherever you can, or pull back and relocate and go help your teammates somewhere else. You don't want to be sitting there doing nothing, so just remember these are just initial positions with the reasonings thought out for you. And every situation is different. It all depends on the context. So just do the right thing, have fun, and you should have a good time. And thanks again for watching. We really appreciate it. And if you have any feedback, let us know. I'll be more than happy to incorporate it and keep improving these videos. Thank you again for watching, and have a good night, good afternoon, good evening, whatever it is, wherever you are. Enjoy the rest of your day, and thank you.